Amplitude modulation is the topic of today's lecture. Amplitude modulation, that is a type of modulation. We have studied in communication system in previous lectures that modulation is an important step without which signal cannot reach to longer distance. And if we want signal to reach at long distance with good strength or power of signal, we need to modulate the signal. Modulating the signal means mixing with one powerful, high energy, high carrier, that is high frequency signal, which is called as carrier signal. So this lecture introduces about amplitude modulation. If you look at this diagram and if you see the definition, one of the characteristic of carrier signal changes in accordance with the instantaneous value of message signal. We know that in all communication systems, message signal is there, which we also call as baseband signal or modulating signal. Then comes carrier signal, which is high frequency signal or a powerful, high power, high energy signal, which is used to modulate the modulating signal or message signal. Message signal is called as modulating because we modulate it. The signal to be modulated is modulating signal. So carrier is the most powerful and important signal that plays a role to carry our signal, to carry the message. There is a spelling mistake. Carrier, it will happen. It will not be EER. This is not the correct spelling of carrier. There is spelling mistake. So one of the characteristic of carrier signal changes in accordance with the instantaneous value of message signal. All right. So you can see in the diagram there is a signal, and there are two waves: amplitude modulated wave and frequency modulated wave, where we can see that how this amplitude modulating signal instantaneous value or amplitude is changing. And accordingly, if you look at AM, you will find that in amplitude modulated signal, the frequency is not changing. What is changing? The carrier signal, it is just following the envelope. When the amplitude of modulating signal is increasing, it is increasing. When it is decreasing, again you see here, increasing, decreasing, increasing. So what is amplitude modulation? Amplitude modulation, see, there is general definition of modulation that one of the characteristic changes of what? Carrier signal. One of the characteristics of carrier signal changes according to the amplitude of modulating signal. Now, what are those characteristics? Those characteristics are amplitude, phase, and frequency. When amplitude of carrier changes according to amplitude of modulating signal, which we can see in the AM wave, the amplitude you can look at here, wherever the baseband signal is, the amplitude is becoming high. The modulated signal, which amplitude modulated signal is becoming high. Whereas wherever it is becoming low, it is also becoming low. So that is amplitude modulated signal. In the picture you can see first one is message signal, second is AM signal, where it can easily be seen that the amplitude of carrier is changing in accordance with the amplitude of modulating signal, message signal. And look at the third diagram where you can see that frequency is changing. Look at here, frequency is increasing, decreasing. So whenever the amplitude of modulating signal is increasing, frequency is increasing. Whenever it is decreasing, you see here separation is more. So the frequency is decreasing. Wherever the amplitude of modulating signal increases or is increasing, the frequency of carrier signal will increase. Wherever it decreases, which decreases, the amplitude of modulating signal, there the frequency of carrier will also decrease. So please understand, even if it is phase modulation, in phase modulation what will happen? Phase of carrier will change in accordance with amplitude of modulating signal. So in modulation, in an important process called as modulation in communication system, whatever change that is occurring in carrier characteristic, that will be always proportional to amplitude of modulating signal. Please remember, you can never change frequency of modulating signal. If you alter the frequency of message signal, it means the content of message signal changes. You can increase or decrease based on what strength you want of the message signal. The amplitude can be recovered. Amplitude can be recovered, but when you alter the frequency of message signal, the original message will not be transmitted, because the message, the most important characteristic with which it is characterized or it is identified is frequency. So frequency and phase we cannot change, but amplitude can vary. And when amplitude varies, that will also affect, that will change the carrier frequency characteristic. If the carrier frequency characteristic is amplitude, which means when the amplitude of carrier signal is changing, according to amplitude of modulating signal, we call it as amplitude modulated signal or amplitude modulation. When the frequency of carrier signal is changing, we will call it as frequency modulation. See here that amplitude modulation. If we want, what will be the amplitude modulated wave for the given problem, given signal? You look at here, there is a baseband signal in time domain. Maximum amplitude is AM. Look at here, another signal which is carrier signal. The maximum amplitude of carrier is AC. It's the two-sided signal, AC and minus AC. AC is in the positive side and minus AC is in the negative side. So the message signal is given and carrier signal is given. You see here, carrier signal frequency is much higher as compared to message signal. Now, what is amplitude modulated signal, or what is amplitude modulation? The amplitude of carrier signal will change according to the instantaneous amplitude of modulating signal. Instantaneous means when at any instant you talk about, at certain instant when it is decreasing, again decreasing, look at the cursor, look at the pointer, you see here the frequency will, amplitude will decrease. And when the amplitude starts increasing until certain point, it keeps on increasing. Till that point, the amplitude of the signal, that is carrier signal, will increase. If you look at this slide, it gives more clarity. Look at here. There is a baseband signal, same baseband signal which was shown in the previous slide. There is a carrier signal. Look at the slide carefully here. That the carrier amplitude is going from AC, that is 0 to AC plus AM. Do you see why it is happening? It is because you look at here, instantaneous amplitude. What is instantaneous amplitude of baseband signal at 0 time? AM. What is instantaneous value of AC? That is carrier amplitude, that is AC at 0, t equal to 0. Now t equal to 0.8, what is the amplitude? AC plus AM, because the carrier amplitude changes according to instantaneous amplitude of modulating signal. What is instantaneous amplitude of modulating signal here? AM. Now look at here, it starts decreasing. Look at here, it starts decreasing. So therefore it follows the pattern. Look at here. It has, it is increasing, then again decreasing, then again you lose. See here, after decreasing, again it starts increasing. So it follows the baseband signal. Sometimes we call it as envelope. This envelope of modulated wave is actually message signal. You see here, according to message signal only, the carrier amplitude is changing. If you can compare the second diagram with third diagram, you will find that in the second and third frequency of signal is not changing. So can we say that the third signal is also a carrier signal? Third signal is actually carrier signal, but that has been mixed with message signal, which is carrying the message signal, which is carrying the baseband signal. All right, which is also carrying the baseband signal. And how? What is the new name? The new name is called as modulated signal. Why it is modulated signal? Because actually this signal is transmitted. The modulated signal is transmitted. So before we transmit the signal, what do? We mix with, now we have to understand. This is an introductory lecture. So we are not discussing all mathematics. Otherwise, we'll see mathematically how we will get this. What happens when we mix a baseband signal with a carrier signal? But fundamentally also we can understand here that as we know the standard definition of amplitude modulation. What is standard definition? Amplitude of carrier changes according to amplitude of baseband signal. Look at here, amplitude of baseband is increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. So amplitude of carrier is increasing and decreasing. So this is how we get the amplitude modulated signal. And this particular method of modulation is called as amplitude modulation. Because today we are talking about amplitude modulation in this lecture. So we are focusing on amplitude modulation. Otherwise, in previous slide, you have seen that there is AM and there is FM also. In FM, what do we check? In FM, what do we see? The frequency changes. Frequency increases and decreases accordingly, according to increase and decrease of amplitude of modulating signal respectively. So the amplitude modulation is used in communication, of course, electronic communication. In most of the applications where we transmit the messages with the help of radio receivers, radio receivers are used to transmit radio signal. AM was used for transmitting audio in radio broadcast system and was developed during the first quarter of 20th century. This is, some history about the amplitude modulation, which says that first time the audio was transmitted using a radio broadcast system in AM was developed there in order to transmit audio signal. And the original AM, actually by default, the standard form of AM is called as double sideband. There are different sidebands which are generated when we get the modulated signal. In this lecture, we are not highlighting on how do we get, how many sidebands we get, where are the spectrums of those sidebands. But we can understand here that when you translate the signal from message to modulated signal, the signal is translated. Translated means wherever your message signal is lying in the spectrum, at that frequency, signal will not be present now. It will be moved to some different places in the spectrum. The spectrum is a frequency domain representation. So when we generate AM signal, it generates two sidebands. That two sidebands are called as double sideband. So whenever by default, when we call about amplitude modulation, it is actually amplitude modulation, that is DSP. And it produces two sidebands, either side of your center. And center, what lies? At the center, carrier is present. And on both sides of carrier, two sidebands are present. And those two sidebands are called as upper sideband and lower sideband. So how many sidebands we have in amplitude modulation? We have two sidebands called as upper sideband and lower sideband. Single sideband, if we want to use single sideband, it has number of advantages. It can be used, we can choose one of the sideband from both the sidebands using a suitable filter, maybe band pass filter. Because why band pass filter is needed? Band pass filter is a filter that passes band of frequencies. So upper sideband and lower sideband, they are representing some bands of frequencies, some ranges of signal frequency. So therefore, either of the band can be chosen, can be filtered, can be passed using a suitable band pass filter. So in SSB, there are number of advantages. When we discuss SSB in detail, we'll understand What are the advantages? Major advantages are we can save half bandwidth rather than transmitting both the sidebands, because one sideband is occupying complete bandwidth of message signal. Other sideband is also occupying the complete bandwidth of message signal. So when we are transmitting both the sidebands, total bandwidth is a double of the bandwidth of message. And if we only transmit one of the sidebands, so we can save half bandwidth. So bandwidth saving is there. Noise immunity is very good when we go for SSB, single sideband, because there we can decide between SSB, between sideband 1 and sideband 2, they are called as upper sideband and lower sideband, which has more probability of having noise. So that particular band, that particular sideband could be eliminated, could be suppressed, and which can be passed, transmitted, the sideband which is least affected by the noise. So therefore, noise immunity is also good in case of SSB. So look at this diagram very carefully. It is very interesting. See the second diagram. The second diagram represents what I was telling you. This actually diagram is called as frequency spectrum. Frequency spectrum. Spectrum of signal. Why? Here signal power is that this is power spectrum actually. We can draw a spectrum. Different types of spectrum we can draw. Power spectrum, amplitude spectrum. When we plot amplitude of signal versus frequency, it becomes amplitude spectrum. When we plot frequency, that is power versus frequency, it becomes power spectrum. So it's a power spectrum where we can see that its center, as we have seen in the previous slide, its center, what is lying? Its center, carrier frequency is present. And on both sides of carrier frequency, there are two sidebands. One is upper sideband, that is FC is carrier frequency here, FC plus FM. Why? Because from FC to FC plus FM, what is inherently present there? Inherently, the signal which is present there in any band is message. And what is the frequency of message? FM. And therefore, the signal is extending from FC to FC plus FM. So if you want to determine the bandwidth, which we call it as a range of frequencies, what is bandwidth here for upper sideband? FC plus FM minus FC. How much we will get? FM, which is actually the bandwidth of message signal. So each sideband has complete message. Look at the lower sideband. It is extending from FC minus FM to FC because it's lower side. So if you subtract this FC minus FM from FC, you will get FM. And therefore there are two bands having same bandwidth, and one of the sideband can be transmitted. But if we choose all the three in our transmission, that is carrier and both the sidebands, that system is called as double sideband. When we do not use any term with double sideband, it means you are also transmitting, sending carrier signal. And when we mention that DSB SC, what is SC? Suppressed carrier. Suppressed carrier means carrier is suppressed. You are only transmitting two sidebands. So that is DSB-SC. So DSB-SC has two versions, DSB-FC or by default DSB-AM, which carries carrier as well. But when we say DSB-SC, double sidebands are transmitted without any carrier. Look at the first diagram where everything, the sideband SSB modulation scheme is also shown here. This is a baseband signal, a spectrum of baseband signal. You can convert your signal from time domain into frequency domain by using any standard Fourier transform or frequency domain conversion method. And when you convert it, you get the signal in frequency domain. So if you look at the first picture where the first part, which is red color, a signal baseband signal, is actually the spectrum of baseband signal, spectrum of message signal. If you compare first with second one, you will find that what is the most important observation which we can make here is, first of all, the frequency is translated. Look at here. The frequency, you can see both the sidebands. You can see message signal here and there, and the carrier is present at the center. This is called as full AM modulation scheme where there is a carrier and there are two sidebands. What we can see that these two sidebands are representing messages. That is message, original baseband signal having same bandwidth. But what is the most important thing that is observable here, that the frequency has been translated. See, this is one more benefit of modulation. When we do modulation, when we modulate the signal, the frequency also gets translated. Your message gets translated. What is the benefit of frequency getting translated? When your message is translated somewhere, so the unauthorized user who might have the knowledge of your original frequency would not be able to intrude, would not be able to break your frequency, because the original message signal has been translated, has been moved away somewhere. And that is due to that is based on what is your carrier frequency. So frequency translation is taking place, as well as we are getting two sidebands and center frequency. If you compare, if you see the third and fourth part of this diagram, in third only USB is displayed, whereas in fourth only LSB is displayed. So this is possible. We can suppress and carrier and lower sideband, and we can only allow upper sideband, or similarly we can suppress upper sideband and carrier, and we can only allow which one? That is lower sideband. As I have already told you, it has its own advantages and disadvantages, that is SSB. But SSB is always, it has a number of advantages when you compare SSB versus DSB. So this diagram, these two diagrams are very interesting diagrams which highlight what happens to the message signal when we modulate by AM, that is amplitude modulation. So amplitude modulation, what does it change to the signal in terms of spectrum? So this is actually the spectrum of complete AM signal, highlighting spectrum of DSB, full carrier, upper sideband suppressed carrier, and lower sideband suppressed carrier. Upper sideband with carrier, lower sideband with carrier is also possible. But in this diagram, that full carrier upper sideband, full carrier lower sideband has not been shown here. So you can see one interesting diagram here where you can again see an example. The topmost, the picture is carrier signal, and then there is a message signal. And if you compare message signal with the third one, the envelope you see here, the envelope of this signal is actually what? The envelope of this signal is your message signal. And what actually happening? This is actually same carrier signal where you can see there is no change in frequency, but amplitude of your carrier signal is just following the amplitude of baseband signal. All right. So when baseband signal amplitude is increasing, look at carefully the third part. The amplitude is increasing. When it is decreasing, it is decreasing. Again, when it is increasing, it is decreasing. Increasing. And again, when it is decreasing, it is decreasing. So this is amplitude modulation. In amplitude modulation, amplitude of carrier signal varies. Amplitude of carrier signal changes according to amplitude of message signal. Amplitude or strength of carrier is varying. Amplitude is also called as strength because power calculation, power of your signal, how much power is there, how much power is transmitted, how much power is radiated, that is determined, that is based on amplitude value. We'll calculate when we discuss AM in mathematical way. So in AM radio communication system, a continuous wave radio frequency signal is amplitude modulated by, for example, it is an AM radio communication system. AM radio. So in AM radio, what will happen? The continuous carrier frequency, continuous wave will be modulated by audio signal, because in radio, AM radio receiver, we transmit audio signal, voice signal, and that too not very high frequency, right? So that signal is transmitted. So which will modulate? Audio signal is modulating. Audio signal will modulate. Which will be modulated? Carrier will be modulated. So continuous wave radio frequency is amplitude modulated by audio signal. You can look at here, the frequency of audio signal or message signal is very low here in comparison with carrier signal. And this is what after modulation we get the modulated signal. The audio signal changes modifies the amplitude of carrier and determines the envelope of the waveform. Look at here. The envelope of the modulated waveform is determined by the signal message signal. If the increase is more in message signal amplitude, the envelope amplitude will be higher. When the decrease is more, the envelope will be going down. I mean, it will have more deeper valleys and deeper peaks based on how much increase and how much decrease are there in the message signal. AM spectrum produces a signal power concentrated at the carrier and two adjacent sidebands. Each sideband occupies the bandwidth. Look at here. The same thing we have explained here. Here also. Look at the diagram. That this is the spectrum where there is a carrier and there are two sidebands, and each sideband occupies the same bandwidth. This is the bandwidth of message signal. You can look at both the sidebands where the same bandwidth is reported. Same bandwidth can be seen, and therefore it says that AM spectrum produces signal with power concentrated at the carrier. Here, concentrated at the carrier. Look at all the diagrams, right? The carrier signal, the power is concentrated there, and at two adjacent sidebands as well. And each sideband occupies bandwidth, and that much bandwidth is always the bandwidth of the message signal. There is one drawback of AM, that is the receiver amplifies and detects noise and EM interference in the same proportion of the signal. There is a small problem that in amplitude modulation, what happens? The carrier amplitude depends on the amplitude of the modulating signal. So when we increase the power level of the message signal, the amplitude is increasing. So in one way, the receiver area, we are amplifying the modulating signal, the strength, and while amplifying the signal strength, sometimes the noise strength, sometimes the EM interference will also get amplified. Because of amplification, the amplitude is increasing or decreasing. So that problem may be there. And even if there is noise signal present in the message, so that will also get amplified in the same proportion. So that's the difficulty. And to obtain higher SNR, it therefore requires increasing transmitted power, unlike in FM. FM is not a requirement, because but in AM, when we want higher SNR, which is an important factor in communication system, that is signal to noise ratio, we always need more transmitter power. When we'll discuss SNR, the power calculation, we'll understand that it depends on transmitted power, unlike in FM. So therefore, AM broadcast, which we call it as generally in the in common language, the radio, AM broadcast is not good for music and high frequency broadcast. It's not recommended, because in case of music and high fidelity broadcasting, that the more transmitter power would be requirement, and the SNR will also not be very good, and therefore only voice communication and broadcasting for news, radio items and sports related news and all that, those things are transmitted by the AM broadcast system, whereas FM broadcast system can transmit your music, high fidelity broadcasting, high fidelity messages, high fidelity the music and other programs. So that FM radio mostly we use for listening to music, enjoying music, right? And that was high pitch, high fidelity music, good quality of music, and that to different channels, FM channels, we can tune with FM radio and we can enjoy with that good quality. But that's not possible easily in AM broadcast because of these constraints. And the last statement is AM demodulation is used in recovering the message from the receiver signal at the receiver. We talked about amplitude modulation. In this lecture, we are not introducing about demodulation. But what is demodulation? What is the purpose of amplitude modulation? The purpose of amplitude modulation is to facilitate the transmission so that the signal can reach at the longer distance. But your original message has been mixed with the carrier. Now we need to remove it. We need to separate it rather. We need to separate the message signal from your carrier. So for that, what is needed? Amplitude demodulation. The reverse process of modulation is demodulation. And there are schemes. There are methods for modulation. There are methods for demodulation. So when the signal is modulated at the receiving end, at the receiver, the signal will be demodulated and we can recover the original message. When we recover the original message, there are difficulties. There are problems with the message signal. Filters and other devices are needed. There may be some noise mixed with the signal even after recovering using the demodulation process. So for that, filtering is needed. Signal processing methods are needed that we'll discuss in subsequent lectures. AM is inefficient in power usage and 2/3 of power is concentrated in carrier signal. When we do its mathematical analysis, you will understand almost 2/3 of power is concentrated in the carrier signal. So inefficient its power usage. In medium and shortwave broadcasting, the standard AM with full carrier allows reception using inexpensive signal. So AM broadcast for medium and small wave, medium and short wave, the AM broadcast is suggested because there the requirement of expensive receivers is not there. The broadcaster absorbs the extra power cost to greatly increase the potential audience, right? Extra power is fed so that we can cater, potential audience. A simple form of AM is the transmission of speech signal from traditional analog telephone set using a commonly battery local. That is the simplest example with which it was started. The direct current provided by the central office battery is a carrier that is modulated by microphone in the telephone according to the acoustic signal from the mouth of the speaker. The result is varying amplitude of direct current. Direct current, it was tested initially with 0 hertz and whose AC component, then it will become AC because of the varying signal which is produced by the speaker as the message signal. That was, we can say, a simple form of AM transmission which was initiated and tested. These are some standard designations of amplitude modulation. ITU is the responsible organization. ITU is the concerned organization who regulates and who designs and develops and recommends different standards and protocols for communication systems. So in 1982, the ITU designated the following designations or the terminologies for the different types of amplitude modulation. Like you can see A3E. A3E is used for DSB-FC, which is fundamental AM. The basic form of amplitude modulation is DSB full carrier. And what is the name? A3E. R3E is suppressed carrier single sideband. Either of sideband will go without any carrier. Similarly, J3E, either of sideband will go without suppressed carrier. Between R3E and J3E, there might be difference in which of the sideband is being chosen. But in both the schemes, R3E and J3E, carrier will be suppressed. There won't be any carrier. Whereas in H3E, you can find it's a SSB scheme where there is also the presence of carrier. Carrier is also going in along with either of the sideband, either lower sideband or upper sideband. And C3F, it's VSB. VSB is a type of SB, that is single sideband, vestigial. You send either of the sideband, either of the sidebands, there are two sidebands, either of the sidebands and some vestige part, some part which is left in other sideband, left out sideband is also included. We'll discuss VSB in detail, but what is important here regarding VSB is popularly used in television transmission, TV transmission. Now this is something about the history of AM. The first AM transmission was made by Canadian researcher in 1900, and they used a spark gap transmitter with a specially designed with frequency of 10 kilohertz interrupter over a distance of 1 mile at Maryland, US. You can see that in 1900 the AM transmission was tested, and therefore radio broadcast was there long ago. 100 years ago there was the radio broadcast. It's because of the transmission was there. His first transmitted words they tested with hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, is it snowing, where are you, etc., etc. So these are the words or phrases which were tested in the first setup, which was proposed in 1900. The first AM public entertainment broadcast was made on Christmas Eve in 1906. Since we are talking about the introduction of amplitude modulation, therefore it is very important and essential to understand the history in 1906 for public entertainment broadcast, for public entertainment purpose also, this AM was used, and this is that setup which was proposed in that time, where you can see a pre-vacuum tube AM transmitter, a Tele-Funken arc transmitter in which carrier wave is generated by 6 electric arcs in vertical tubes connected to a tune circuit. Modulation is done by large carbon microphone concept. You can find here concept where you can speak something. So it's a kind of microphone and then it records, and through the antenna feed, you can see there is an antenna feed, and there are these schemes where the carrier is generated by 6 electric arcs, which you can see there are electric arcs. Because those days, why the vacuum tube AM transmitter was there, those days amplifiers, the BJT, FET and other versions of amplifiers were not available. Only vacuum tube versions of triodes, anodes and these other devices were available. Transmitters or amplifiers or transistors were there in the form of vacuum tube. So therefore it was a kind of vacuum tube AM transmitter, and therefore you can see that's a big one. It looks like a big in shape, because now you can see the radio set is coming in a very, very small dimension, a small size. You can find pocket radio, you can just keep in your pocket and you can carry the radio wherever you want to go. Even FM radio in the form of, what we MEMS technology, it's there in all smartphone. So a smartphone can be tuned with any FM radio station and you can listen the entertainment program or musical program of radio. So that was the technology where vacuum tubes were there, but still the AM was implemented and the carrier was used using some arcs, 6 electric arcs, and then through some cone shape, cone structure, they made the microphone a kind of carbon microphone where they captured the voice and it was transmitted, it was modulated. And the first vacuum tube radio transmitter built by Messner in 1913 with an early triode tube by Robert von Lieben is here. That you can see vacuum tube here, triode, vacuum tube, right? You can find here, there is a tube that was also used for amplifying the signal. Where a historic, it was tested for 36 kilometers, 24 miles. The first one tested was for 1 mile. Now in 1913, it was tested for 36 kilometers, that is 24 miles, and that too for voice transmission from Berlin to Neuen in Germany. And it was tested. So I think we have had enough discussion on introduction of amplitude modulation. So let's sum up today's lecture. Let's summarize. In this lecture, we have introduced amplitude modulation. When we want to discuss amplitude modulation, we have to understand what the modulation is. Modulation is known as the method or the technique or a process in which one of the attributes or characteristics of carrier signal, that may be amplitude, phase or frequency, that changes according to instantaneous value of modulating signal, which is baseband signal. So when we say that amplitude of carrier signal changes according to amplitude of modulating signal, it becomes amplitude modulation. When frequency of carrier changes according to amplitude of modulating signal, that is called as frequency modulation. But in this lecture, we have introduced amplitude modulation. Therefore, we have seen the waveforms, how the amplitude modulated wave looks like. In the wave, we can see that the envelope of AM wave is actually the modulating signal wave. Why? Because when we increase the amplitude modulating amplitude, that is amplitude of modulating signal or instantaneous value of modulating signal, what do we get? Change is accordingly. The according change can be observed in the carrier amplitude, and therefore the envelopes are same. So that is how, when the amplitude of message signal increases, the carrier amplitude increases. When the amplitude of message signal decreases, the carrier amplitude will decrease. And then we talked about, though we will discuss the spectrum analysis in detail when we discuss mathematically about the amplitude modulation, how power term is calculated, how spectrum is drawn. But we have given introduction here that in the spectrum we can see that The message signal which is present at certain frequency is translated at certain different places in the spectrum, that is transmitted spectrum, transmitted band, where at the center carrier is lying, and on both sides of carrier two sidebands are there. Those sidebands are called as upper sideband and lower sideband, and therefore the by default AM is called as DSB full carrier, where both the sidebands are present and carrier is also present. But DSB-SC is also a version. DSB-SC is also possible to implement. We can send two sidebands without carrier. Similarly, we can also transmit only one sideband, that is single sideband, and either of the sidebands, upper sideband or lower sideband, can be chosen and can be transmitted, can be communicated, and that can also happen either with carrier or without carrier. And after discussing that, we have seen some history about in 1900 AM was suggested and proposed, and it was tested for 1 mile, around 1 mile, and then it came in 1913. It was tested for 24 miles, and using vacuum tube. Those days transistors were not there as amplifiers, so vacuum tube and specific bigger arrangement was made to transmit the voice signal for 24-mile transmission using AM technology. So that's all for today's lecture. Thank you.